But the second term is sure because under SHA, every day 70,000 Kenyans are registered under SHA. You say we are closing.
Sure. You say it's a sure shot.
It's a sure bet.
Yeah.
Like a cock sure, not hen sure, like a cock sure.
How?
That is what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. Look,
your side of the divide has been accused of making that chest thumping statement.
No, we are not just thumping. He is asking how can second term be sure without doing what the president was elected. And I'm saying our manifesto, these are the things that we had promised Kenyans. And one of them is the universal health coverage, like social health insurance. Over 22 million Kenyans have now registered under SHA. The same people who are telling Kenyans SHA is not working, Kenyans have realized that it is only the confidence of the fools that these guys do not allow us to register. They are now registering 70,000 per day. And SHA is working. They have changed the narrative from SHA is not working to say it's working in other areas, but it's not working. And that is why I agree there could be challenges of human resources like universal health coverage. And we have agreed that the National Assembly should at least, and Senate, we are already under Division of Revenue, to ring-fence around 2 billion as conditional grants to ensure that universal health coverage staff are confirmed under PNP. On the issue of CBC, the CBC, the people like Matiang'i and Uhuru Kenyatta left in a mess. Now the president is trying to fix. You remember, was it grade 7, 8, and 9? They were supposed to go to junior secondary school to be translated. We are now building over 15,000 classrooms, courtesy of NGCDF, and across even in this city where the primary schools in this city have been given 1 billion to implement the CBE, which was a big challenge. I agree the university funding model has a problem. But the solution, the problem that the university higher education is a cancer that we are trying to fix. And when the university funding model was supposed to be brought, the same people rushed to court to block it.
Okay.
And in fact, that is why even we were saying, allow us to fix the universal, not university funding model for the benefit of Kenyans. These are the same people, when a government comes to the program, they rush to court, and the government must obey some of these court orders because it is their right to challenge. And finally, because he was asking why President William Ruto's, second term is a sure bet. Even markets. Now, Mama Mboga and business people will have a place of dignify that they can do their businesses. Okay. Even in areas, even for now, even in Nyamita's constituency, they now have an ultra-modern market that cannot be constructed by counties. But President William Ruto is supplementing on the position. Finally, on the issue of sugar leasing. I want to say, because Nandi, the area of Chemase, even Masop and Chemelil, as he has said, I agree that there could be some concerns. But the same sugar companies have, in fact, when they say they are firing 5,000 people, they were dysfunctional. You walk to Chemelil. Many people were never accessing. Even my farmers could not deliver, came to Chemelil because Chemelil was dysfunctional. Go to Nzoia, go to many of these state-owned, even Mumias, Trevor, they were not functional. So when people say people are losing jobs or they are losing money, yet the public debt that the President William Ruto's government, in fact, when President William Ruto removed the debt over 100 billion, you realize the UN cry across the country that why was President William Ruto clearing Western and Nyanza public debts, yet they never voted for him. So we are telling farmers it is better to lease out these sugar factories because one, they will get bonus like tea, the way the Mumias did the other day. And number two, it is better to get 20 shillings in a day with a promise of 1,000 when these guys have never given alternative. So on the issue of leasing, by the way, farmers should know this. The sugar state-owned factories or even the nuclears, they are not being sold, they are being leased. And that should be the conversation that we have. Before, on the issue of sugar leasing, on 30th April 2025, and for the information of the country, there was a presser. And by the way, you know, when people say people are losing jobs, the key stakeholders were consulted. That is the Kenya National Federation of Sugar Farmers and Kenya Union of Sugars, Plantation and Allied Workers. In fact, they did welcome the move to lease out 4 sugar factories in Nzoia, Chemelil, Moroni, and Soni. In fact, that was being seen by Kenya Sugar Board CEO Jude Chesere. And in fact, in that statement, Senator Mutahi Kagwe, Cabinet Secretary, says no one will be fired within 1 year. And in fact, in that statement, which I will share, and it is even in the public domain, that no one will lose their job within 1 year. What we are saying is that many people, including universal health coverage, the issue of ailing sugar sector, even coffee sector, among other sectors, even we are doing tea sector reforms, where I come from, because we are majorly farmers, is that most of these people have never taken the courage to fix some of these problems that are ailing Kenyans. The President William Ruto would have well said, now that the sugar sector is ailing, let us leave it that way. But when you pass through Chemeli, there is no smoke that comes out. But the president is saying, let Kenyans get even 10 shillings without a promise. And I've realized Willis has mixed up. Kibo's sugar factory is a private company. The government does not have any, and I'm surprised, you know, these social media politicians are funny. He's not aware that not all Kenyans are taking sugar every morning. There are people who are taking dupia every morning. I'm surprised he's not even aware. But as me and Mark Nyamita, who are on the ground, know that a number of Kenyans do not access tea with sugar daily. So in short, what we are saying is that the key stakeholders, and we agree that there are problems. We did say in the Senate the other day that we need to ensure that key stakeholders, even repeat of public participation, one heart, let us still consult, let no Kenyan lose their jobs. But we are saying this is about leasing. Then we agree, I agree with you, that we need to also have a view of the agreement that most of these nuclear farms, if we lease out to Rai, for example, and I'm surprised Rai took over Webuye Pan Pepper, but nothing has ever happened. Nothing has ever happened in Webuye. So I was surprised also when he was given, was in Nzoia Sugar Company to run, yet he failed to run Webuye. For example, the vetting, how are these people allowed? And then if they are taking over, for example, 2,400 acres of Gemelli nucleus, do we agree that the lessor or the person who took the lease, are they going to plant maize or sugar? So we need to see the fine print of the agreement of the lease, which I agree with every Kenyan, so that, you know, they say the devil in the details. Number 3, on the issue of power, to Willis, you know, living in the city and having access to this power, when a president comes to launch a transformer that will take care of 400 houses or 400 families, it means the world to them. I agree we should not reduce our conversation to the energy, and that is why even on the issue, by the way, it's being selective, I and Mark in Parliament, we have tried to hold accountability independent power producers, because IPPs were selling to Kenya Power in terms of dollars, and we told them, no, you cannot be generating power and selling us in dollars. I agree when you go to Mandera, I've been to Mandera myself, northern Kenya, they are still using generator. For example, if you go to Mandera, the Kenya Power took 3 generators. One is functional, but it is being switched off after every 3 or 4 hours because of the weather. It is the Kenya Power and Lighting Company and REREC to ensure that the national grid is accessed. So I agree we should not reduce to bulb, but we should not. The other factor you ask, why Nandi are getting 220 units of affordable housing? That is the start. Okay. Nandi is having almost 6 markets. We're having a number of roads which we have been assigned to be raised to bitumen standards. But even if the president comes from our region, he's the president of Kenya. He must sit in the principle of equity, and I'm embarrassed that Willis is saying because Mbadi comes and there was a woman, and I know, Mark, we can, after this, maybe contribute a few money to alleviate that issue of fees, that since Mbadi comes from that region, no one should be poor. But Mbadi sits where he applies the principle of equity, just like the president. He must say, in Migori, there must be a tarmac. In Nandi, there must be. Even in Kisumu, I know yourself, you cannot access your house. We must look and say, where does Trevor comes from? He must access his house. We must get a road to his house. On Diek, the same thing. And I want to encourage the Diek to be name and shame, because he looks like he fears this monarch. He cannot tell us the name saying, I'm not a toddler to be told. Finally, on the issue of farmers, because he asked a critical question, we are buying KCC now. He's buying per litre under affirmative through guarantee minimum 53 shillings. Where 3 shillings goes to cooperative society, 50 shillings goes to farmers. When you go to Lelchego, Kabir Dairies, Tankina, among others in Nandi and across the country, even here in Mount Kenya, we are buying at 53 shillings. So that is how we are trying to improve. And by the way, most of these issues that we are raising were part of the issues that we did raise during the campaigns period. And finally, he's saying, how can Kenyans access? We have Asla Fund. Yesterday, one of the experts from ODM, CS Oparanya, was giving us a picture that 2.1 million Kenyans are good borrowers, where they are borrowing and they are refunding, and they have started good businesses. So what we are saying in short is that if there is challenges that we face, they could be there.
Okay.
But things like Masala Fund, things we are fixing everything, and I want to assure you, because the contract, by the way, I have seen people trying to compare William Ruto with President Kibaki. They are comparing President Kibaki, William Ruto's 2 years to 10 years of Kibaki. Many people who are uncomfortable with Kibaki during his era complained for 10 years, but when he left office, we were now realizing that Kibaki performed. Okay. So Kenyans should judge William Ruto based on the contract of Kumi Bila Break. Then after in 2032, and I want to warn people like Akina Willis, because you know, he should not be telling us legacy politicians. Willis has never won even a chairman of a DP. He has never been elected. So he doesn't know how elective politics operate in this country. Even if they don't plant themselves by 2032, people like Mark Nyamita, who is calling them legacy politicians, will take over this country. Okay. And I can see Ondiek is coming very well. He needs a few tutorials, then he will be okay to get into the political landscape. Willis.